I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna work harder. I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna work harder. I'm a survivor.
This place here in Philippines, I am so delighted to be here. I am so excited that I'm nervous. We have preparations, we've got corporate here, we've got dignitaries, we've got so many organizations here, investors. They're looking for something and we're gonna bring it. We're bringing the noise to Philippines, guys. And I tell you, you're gonna see more of this.
If you sacrifice that instant gratification, you're going to be able on your own terms. Ito na po yung chance na mabago yung buhay natin. Yun po yung mission ko sa mga OFW, nani sa Dubai, hindi ka nani forever. Ito na yung time na mabago ang buhay mo.
Hello, everyone. Oh, it feels so good to be back. I tell you, it feels great to be back. Let me share my screen. My name is Queen Wiki, Faith Sloan, affectionately known in social media circles as Queen Wiki. You won't find me in Facebook or Instagram, but I am in Twitter. Let's do this. Okay, here we are. Here we are. The name of this project is AKAS. And I'm going to talk about the AKAS protocol, but what I like to do firstly, I like to talk a little bit about the history. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. So some of you can get an idea of where this idea came from. But this is so exciting. And so let's get started here. Okay, so AKAS DAO, a DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization. That means there's no owners here. You and I, all of us, are owners, and I'm going to talk a bit more about that. They did it the right way, because you hear that from a lot of guys. We've got a DeFi project, a decentralized finance project. It's not owned by anyone. Then I go take a look. It is owned by someone. They've got all of the tokens. Okay, so you guys are going to love this one. You're going to love this one. Okay, let me close that up just a little bit. Yes, about so. So, new generation of all chain DeFi protocols. So we're going to talk about here. You'll see they talked about DeFi or decentralized finance as it relates to Olympus DAO. Some of you have heard of Olympus DAO, and some of you are participating in some of the Olympus DAO protocols that were built on top of the Olympus DAO protocol. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. They have the most iconic protocols built on this stack, on this layer. And I mean, it's just been amazing. Olympus DAO has been around for about 4 years, and it wasn't a network marketing or affiliate. It was for nerds like me, crypto nerds like me, who like staking, who like liquidity, who likes bond, who likes the concept of money, who likes treasury bonds, we know this stuff. We know the technology behind this stuff. So they had quite a few people in it. So that was Olympus DAO. Very much iconic. Many, many, many people in the industry have already heard of them. And so let's continue here. We're going to talk about Olympus DAO 1.0 2021. So yes, they've been around since 2021. This is 2025. And the foundation of their model was bond and staking. Many of you know what staking is, some of you don't. Many of you know what bonds are, some of you don't. Here's a good example of what a bond is. China owns a heck of a lot of the United States Treasury bonds. okay? And when the interest rate is low, China is happy. But because of the lack of clarity and uncertainty in the United States markets, the treasury bonds have been going up. And people aren't happy about that. The markets aren't happy about that. So it's really what you would call a relatively safe way to put your liquid money, your liquid assets, put your cash in there instead of in the stock market or instead of in volatile instruments, investment interests. They will put it there. So that's why they're always threatening Trump with selling all of their darn bonds, and we'll be in a world of trouble. So those are bonds. It's a form of investment. So Olympus DAO, they had the bond and the staking. So we've got the extra oomph we got from the crypto community where you put some money in, some crypto in a bond, and you'll say, okay, 5 days, 10 days, 180 days, 360 days, you get it locked in. But every day with Olympus DAO, you will earn what we call rebates. You will call it interest. Every day, you can withdraw it every day. You can withdraw it every day. You can withdraw it every day. You can withdraw it. But the main brunt of your money that you utilize to get engaged here sits there and continue to earn. That is what we talk about, recurring income or life-changing income. So that was Olympus DAO and what they were based on, okay? And this is that was the genesis, if you will. If you read the Bible, Genesis means first, right? So that was Genesis. If you know blockchain technology, the first block is the Genesis block. Genesis is just the first. It's the mother node, baby. And so, but one of the issues, the major issues with Olympus DAO 1.0 back in 2021 is that a lot of folks got tokens in the beginning. They gave it to their mother. They gave some to their sister and their brother and their spouses. They got a whole bag of tokens, right? Some of them are basically owning the liquidity pool. So it's an unfair advantage, okay? So the initial distribution of the OHM token was actually held by speculators, people who weren't interested in the community, people who weren't interested in being good, people who were just wanted to take, regardless. I am in a decentralized finance project called Pulse Chain. And that is one of the major things that's wrong with our model. We've got some big whale dogs who are not nice people, but we do have benefactors in there who help to offset that. But every time that price goes up, here they go, dump, price goes back down. So we just have to wait until they finish selling all of their tokens. That's what always happens. But many times what happens is there's a non-ending, non-stop selling of those tokens. A lot of traders trading on the market, right? Speculating. And what you get then is an unstable ecosystem. And then what comes after that, when you have an unstable ecosystem, you have huge price volatility. And what I mean by that is volatile. It could be here today, you wake up tomorrow, it could be here, and then by the time you've taken a shower, it could be here. So those type of volatility, we don't want that. What we want to do is we want to build something for the community for long-term action. And so then Olympus DAO 2.0 in fourth quarter of 2021, I'm glad it took them a short amount of time to figure this out. They said, hey, let's start giving people real yields. So when you give people the incentive to hold their tokens and stake them over time and keep their initial cash outlay sitting there, we get more stability. And we've got a lot more things here in AKAS that gives us that sense of stability as well. So that is wonderful. So to address that instability of the 1.0 ecosystem, they upgraded it. And what happened was, here are some of the good things that came out of that. They built a more sustainable token model, number one. Number two, they kind of guided us as the community to focus on the long-term effort, the long-term value, their long-term wealth, rather than just the short-term APYs. So that was good. And then they came around, they said, wait, we see something else. So in 2022, Olympus DAO says we're going to have to modify this a tad and tweak it because we still see a little deficiency. And this is like life in general. When you go into business for yourself, you're going to fail, or you're going to see some things that just didn't work. And it's all right, because that's normal. Nothing is ever perfect. So they went in, they said, let's tweak it again, right? Let's tweak it again. And so what they did, bottom line is, they evolved from a single product into a whole ecological system, ecological platform, where other DeFi protocols can build on top of it. Okay, so it's the anchor, if you will. Olympus DAO 3.0, it's the anchor holding everyone down, and you can build on top of it. You can build on top of it. You can hire somebody if you're not a techie, right? And so we've had some projects on top of it, and they're still working today. Even some of the affiliate marketing ones, they're still singing. They're still singing. Prices aren't like down to $1 or 10 cents or anything. I think one project is $17, another one in the 20s or something like that. Doing pretty darn good. Good for long term rather than short term effort. So that did work. But with the improvement and the updates to the Olympus DAO 3.0, they made it more of a holistic ecosystem that other DeFi projects can build upon and tweak it and customize it. So that's wonderful. And so what they did was they emphasized more of a synergy, a governance synergy. That resonates among all DeFi protocols on this planet. If only they were all utilizing the Olympus DAO 3.0 protocol or holistic ecosystem, wow, we'll have a lot of choices out there. Well, we only have a few now, and I'm going to talk about AKAS, which is the best, okay? Because I tell you, now we can talk about the pathways for quote unquote money is governance. Money is governance. With the US dollar, the Great British Pound, the euros, Naira from Nigeria, right? The UAE, AEDs, all of those. No, that's not governance for us. That's governance for them. Shoes, we used to be able to, I remember when I was a child, my mother would go shopping for food. And we would have for $50, 2 carts of food. Woo, lots of food. Tell me if you'll get 1 cart of food today from the grocery store with $50. As a matter of fact, you're probably gonna get 1 little plastic bag of food, and you don't have any comment or detergent either, none of your toilet paper. You just got a couple of things of meat, and you got a little cans of beans or something, I don't know. They govern that. They get rich on that. They manipulate that. This is a true DAO, decentralized finance for the people like you and I. So let's continue on. So in summary, in terms of the pain points in the early stage of DeFi and Olympus DAO back in 2021, 4 years ago, right? Because you always hear about, and many of you have, and I hear about it every day, we're DeFi, we're we're on the blockchain, you can't get scammed or rug pulled, poppycock. Yes, you can, but I'm not going to get into that here. So the core pain points were addressed. So let's talk about everybody talking about decentralized finance back then in 2021 and even earlier. But it is marred by the following major pain points in the real world. This is the reality. Uneven token distribution. Here's how that will work. Give my mama some tokens. I created the token. Give my mama some tokens. Give my daddy some tokens. Give my siblings some tokens. Give my, my children some tokens. Give them some land. And we're giving away all these tokens. Then we get a bag of tokens, right? And we get them basically for free. It's kind of like stock, the stock market. If indeed a company comes along and you're not an insider, right? You're not an insider. You don't know any of this. I do, because I worked a lot with financial institutional investors back in the day when I was working. And I also invested in a lot of seed round projects. And they would say, okay, you do this work for us, sit on our board, blah, blah, this, and we'll give you stock options. So let's say, for example, they would say you have the option to buy the stock back after a year, or when we go on NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange, but you got yours. I got mine for what? 1 cent, 2 cents. When they go on the stock exchange, it comes out at $25. Okay, that's unfair advantage. And the same thing here in DeFi. And so what they've done here, right, and these are the pain points in version 1. We had uneven token distribution. The market makers, the liquidity providers, all of these early birds, they got these tokens at next to nothing or at low prices, and they're going to cash them out at high price. So let's say, for example, you got a token for 1 cent, the baby go up 10 cents, you got 10 extra money. The baby go up to $1, you got 100 extra money. What are those big guys going to do? What are big guys and gals, the early insiders, going to do? They're going to dump it on your heads. There are some people who are like really nice people and would do it in a way that wouldn't ruin the market. But the majority of them, hey, I got 1 million of these, I got 10 million of these, and just trash the price by selling it. Okay, so that's number one. So they reap the dividends of faith. They were given these tokens, they were given that early head start based on faith, but they had no faith. Okay, so they ruined that. Liquidity pools are controlled by market manipulators. Now, a market manipulator or market maker isn't necessarily bad. Okay, if you look at the stock exchange, they've got a lot of big money. We're talking billions and billions and half of trillions of dollars of these big corporations. You guys know who I'm talking about, big corporations, and they sit there and they move the market. They can move the market like that because they've got all of this liquidity. Liquidity is what drives the market. If there's no liquidity in the project you're in, if there's no liquidity in Apple stock, if there's no liquidity in Microsoft or Amazon stock or some of the new and upcoming stocks or AKAS or any of these protocols or any cryptocurrency, you know what that means? You can't trade. You can't buy and you can't sell it. So you just got some dead shit in your hand, right? You can follow me? So there we go with that. And they can withdraw funds at any time. Here's a prime example. When the Trump token came out, this is the prime reason why I didn't buy. I don't care how much it went up. It went all the way up to 70 something dollars. I knew about it at 11, but I didn't touch it. It just felt like poison. So I took a look at it and I took a look at the website. They put 10% of the tokens in a liquidity pool. Okay, that's good. They put 10% of the tokens on the market. So you and your buddies and all of you guys and the MAGA people and the Americans and everybody who wanted to get in, people around the world got in, right? And so I'm trying to explain to them why they probably not want to do that. What happened to the other 80% of the tokens? Went to the website. CIC1, CIC2, CIC3 LLC, CIC Group 4, CIC Group 5, and CIC Group 6 owns 80% of the token. I said, who the hell is CIC? Oh, crap. That's Trump's and his sons and his family's company. That's where he was selling those Bibles from China. China. That's where he was selling those Bibles from China with his name on it. That's where he was selling those gold sneakers and all of his other products that failed. I'm not knocking him. I'm just being truthful with you guys. And I want you to understand how to look at what you're buying and look at what you're getting into. I'm like, wait, okay, they're holding 80%. So any day they can go while you're buying, it went all the way up. I'm telling you, I saw some people got in at 50 cents, not a lot. I knew about it at $11, right? I saw that baby go up to $12, $15, $20, $25, $30, $40, all the way up to $73 or something around there, $76. All of a sudden, had something to do with the Millennia coin came out as well. All of a sudden, it dumped 50% immediately to around $35 or so. And right now today, I think it's probably around, I don't know, I haven't looked in a long time, $11. So all of the people who follow Trump or thought this was going to be a great thing, and they got in at $12, they got in at $30, they got in at $50 or $60 or $70, right? They're at a loss. The only thing they can do is sell at a loss or sit and hope and pray and wait that the price would go up. But here's what really bothered me and why I really didn't get in is because that 80% were all Trump companies, his family companies. And the first group, CIC group, in 3 months from the launch, and I think it launched in January, so that would have been February, March, April. In April, 28 million tokens were coming unlocked. So that means that the CIC Group 1 have 28.8 million tokens. They could sell on the market. They got them for free, remember? They could sell on the market and make out. They did make out. But then I guess maybe I was too loud in Twitter. I kept going on and on and on. They put off the unlocking. So you got to look at things like that. Those are the market manipulators, but I would never get in the project where the owners and their buddies own 80% of the tokens. I was in something like that. And boy, the liquidity was locked, but they sold all their tokens. That baby went to zero. But in any case, let me continue. That's the price manipulation part I was talking about. And so when that happened, they sacrificed the interest of the DAO members, us, of the stockholders, of the crypto holders. They sacrificed. They don't care about you. What did Michael Jackson say? They don't care about us. And it erodes the community consensus. Everybody get pissed off in social media. Now everybody's fighting. And it plunged all of the leaders and the top dogs who weren't the insiders. They're in the crisis of trust because not everyone is mad at them as well. So those are the pain points of DeFi, and it's still happening today. The lifeblood of decentralized finance is the liquidity pool, okay? Without liquidity, nothing could be traded, okay? And so what happens is when you put money into the liquidity pool, like I'm a liquidity pool provider, I put crypto in, because I make a lot of money on the transactions, etc. You can lose too, but you can make a whole lot of money on a very active project, right? Right? And so I can actually wake up tomorrow, let's say I've got $1 million in a liquidity pool. I can wake up tomorrow and say, I got too many projects. I'm over here, I'm over here, I'm over there, or just because I feel like it. Or maybe I have some cash flow issues. I'm taking all my liquidity out. It's mine. Okay. And that could potentially plummet the price of the token to zero. So if there's like $10 million in liquidity, and I take out $5 million in liquidity, yeesh, Not good. So these are the pain points that we are experiencing, not only in the early stages of the Olympus DAO, and not only in the early stages of DeFi, but the majority of the quote unquote decentralized finance or DeFi projects that exist today, they still have these pain points. I'm not touching those. Okay, I know I stayed a little long on this one just to get a point across to you. I like educating. I know some of you who know me. So shut up, Queen. Go to the next slide. A new beginning, second quarter 2025. That's where we are today. I think that what they were doing is they sold nodes for people. And the deadline was, I think, the 19th of June. There's no more nodes. You buy a node, if you were fortunate enough, you didn't get a whole bunch of tokens. That's different than what I was talking about. You buy a node, and it's a node for 360 days. Every day I can withdraw out my earnings. We call it rebase. You'll hear a lot about that. It's similar to interest, but in crypto, we call it rebase rewards, and they vary. How much you will earn, the percentage is dependent upon what's going on in the ecosystem. Okay, so we've got nodes, great. Okay, so then I think on the 20th, or was it the 19th evening, that's when they launch. Okay, so it's been 3 weeks. I think it's been about 3 weeks I've been in, and it's looking delicious back there. Okay, so now the iterative masterpiece of Olympus DAO 4.0 is AKAS. 3.0 was Origin, LGNS. For those of you who are in Origin, some of my team members are in Origin. They aren't leaving. They got their money vested there, and they're making money all the time. And here's just another stream of income, passive stream of income for them. Okay, so they had their global launch, which is wonderful. All of this is built upon a proven protocol, 4 years, called the Olympus DAO. Now we have the AKAS DAO, the all-chain protocol. It's based on consensus lock-in. All of the nodes that were purchased by us, the early birds, they took all of that money, all of that liquidity. Guess what they did with it? They burned it. What do I mean by burn? You put it in the burn wallet, and nobody on this planet anywhere in the world can ever get to that wallet. Ethereum have burn wallets on its blockchain. Binance Smart Chain have burn wallets. Typically, they're like, in Ethereum is 0x000000. On some chain it's 0x000000 DEAD as in dead. You know, so I know how to find that. Yep, they burn all the liquidity from all of our money, the people who purchase the nodes. I'm like, wow. They say we're going to start afresh. We're going to start afresh for the people. Okay, so they didn't take the liquidity. They've got the liquidity locked. They also don't get any tokens on the front end. It was a fair launch. We are the DAO, baby. We are the DAO. I love it. Okay, so we got a fair launch. I talked about the permanent destruction of the Genesis nodes liquidity, the liquidity tokens, LP tokens. They got rid of those. Finally, deep consensus binding. Okay, so all of our nodes were automatically bound to a 360-day liquidity pool bound contract. There's a contract. You can actually read it. I read it. So what they're giving us, it injects us with a sense of trust. What do they say about DeFi and crypto? Don't believe what nobody tells you. Don't believe what the founders say. Don't believe what the developers say. Don't trust, verify. I verify on a blockchain and via the contracts. So now what it does, it injects the power of long-term faith and consensus from the very beginning. From the very beginning. So this solidifies this foundation for collaboration among all of the DAO members all around the world. From China to India to Indonesia to Singapore to Australia to Turkey to United States, what have you. Okay, so everybody, it was a big event. I was there. They had a huge event and they burned the liquidity. They burned the liquidity. And then I was like, whatever, I'll check it when I get. Everybody had their cameras and all of that. And I said, I can't see that far, right? I can't see. So I checked it when I got home, went to the blockchain. Yepers, now it's trust and faith. They started that way, not trying to end that way or pretend they're that way. Okay, so I'm not going to get into all of the highlights of the AKAS on-chain all-chain protocol, but what I do like is that they have a flexible staking where you can stake and you can withdraw after 24 days. So 24 hours, one day. That's the flexible staking. It's yours, you can walk away. So let's say, for example, you put $100,000 in or $10,000 in. And let's say, for example, you're getting 0.5% or maybe 1% a day. It varies depending, okay? And let's say you're getting 1% a day. On $100,000, that would be $1,000 a day, right? Okay, you say, I want to unstake. You got your 1,000 and you got your 100,000. So you got 101,000. But see, I'm not into getting $1,000 on $100,000. So I'm not going to walk away. So they have number two, they have a long-term staking option. And you'll see that in the back office of the DApp, the decentralized app. Okay. And you can choose 30 days, 60 days, I believe. I know there's a 90 days, there's 180 days, and there's a 360 days. You can buy one or more of any of those anytime you get ready to. Okay? It's all up to you. It's all up to you. So I like the 360 days. It's not as if I buy or I stake for 360 days and have to wait 360 days to get all of my money. No. Every day I can go in, claim, withdraw, next day, claim, withdraw, but my cash outlay, people typically call it principal in the stock world or investment world, but we're not really investing, we're staking, legitimately. And so when you have that staking going on, at the end of 360 days, you get your $10,000 back or your $100,000 back, whatever you put in, but you've earned for 360 days. Withdraw. Or instead of withdrawing, you could say, hey, I'm not going to withdraw every day. I want that eighth wonder of the world. And what is the eighth wonder of the world? Compounding. So if you leave it in and you don't withdraw, it compounds. So if you had $1,000, maybe you'll have $1,010, $1,005. And then that compounds the next day, and that compounds the next day, and that compounds the next day. So pick your own schedule. Then what we also have, there are 3 other staking options. One is called the treasury bond, and I gave you the Chinese example of what treasury bonds are in America and around the world globally. We've got the liquidity bond, and we've got the burn bond. And I'm not going to get into all of that right now. This webinar, I'm just giving you some of the core highlights of what we are about, AKAS all about, how we started. My next video, my next webinar is going to talk more about, okay, what's in it for me? I'll start showing you the back office and telling you how it works. And for those of you who are going to be bringing other people in because you're excited, I'm going to tell you how you can make a whole lot of money if indeed you bring other people to the table. And you're not making the money on what they put in. You're going to be making the money on what they earn daily. So people can't say it's a scam, it's a Ponzi. No. If I put in $10,000, my sponsor ain't getting like 10%. My sponsor ain't getting 8%. My sponsor is not getting 7%. No, No, that's not how it works. I got $10,000 staking, period. Period. Right? But you can't earn on my earnings, which is cool because we earn the tokens. There's no USDT or DAI or none of that they're giving us. We're earning on the tokens. You can do whatever the heck you want to do with the tokens. They're on the market. You can sell them like that. Get the cash, put it in your bank account, go have some sushi and plum wine. And so I talked about the bond burning. They've got that. I'm not going to go into detail. I talk about the principal and the interest. I talk about the flexible deposit and the withdrawals as well. Now, in order to join, whomever got you on this webinar, I want you to get back with them, not tomorrow, not why wait? Your money's going to be sitting in the bank or sitting in your pocket or sitting underneath your sofa. You might as well just put it to work. Put it to work. I'm not your financial advisor or anything like that, but that's what I'm doing. You make your own choice. That's what I'm doing. So the path goes like this. You get that link from them. You go into my YouTube or you're in my Telegram group, and you'll find it in the description of this video in YouTube. And all of my videos, you'll find a description of where the Telegram group is. I've got videos in YouTube on how to set up your wallet because we're on the Polygon blockchain. And I talk about that. So go watch that video. How to set up MetaMask. I've got that video. How to swap. I've got that video. Now you're going to swap, okay? And you're going to receive your AS tokens. When you get your AS tokens, then you're going to be able to stake and you're going to earn rebase rewards every single day, twice a day. Well, actually, every 12 hours. Every 12 hours, go in your back office. Ooh. Next 12 hours. Ooh. Next 12 hours. Ooh. Claim whenever you want. It's all up to you. Anywhere between 0.23% and 0.95%. Okay? Okay. So I talk a bit about that, and I talk a lot about that in my short 17-minute video where I shows you how to stake. Okay. The second path is you go the discounted bond route. Okay. And you're going to buy some AS tokens. Okay. And you're going to choose whichever you want, right? Staking period. And you're also going to earn rebase rewards every 12 hours. With our bonds, you're buying the tokens at a discount. Okay. With the flexible staking and the long-term staking, you're getting bonuses or boosters that'll boost your daily rebase. So you pick the one you want. I'm in all of them. So we've got 5 products. Actually, there's 2 products. One is staking, which is flexible and long-term, where you can pick 30 days, 90 days, 180, 360. And then we've got the bonds. And there are 3 sub-products: liquidity bond, treasury bond, burn bond. Right now, as of this video today, the liquidity bond, I believe, is the only bond that's back there today. Pretty soon, the burn bond and the treasury bond will be back there. And I'm going to do some training on that particular piece by itself, the difference between all of the different stakes. But meanwhile, get on board today. I highly recommend that you just go in there, you click on staking, you choose long-term staking, choose a 360-day stake, and start earning every day for 360 days. Get your rebase. Then start learning more. Start learning more about what the whole AKAS ecosystem is about. Because I tell you, I had to learn a lot. But I want to teach that to you and share that with you as well. But the important thing is to get started. Okay, so this is the single token staking I talked about. Okay, and then we've got the compound interest estimation table. I have this PDF of this presentation in the Telegram group. And remember, I talked about you can keep everything there, okay? Because remember, every 12 hours, you're going to be getting paid. Every 12 hours, you're going to get paid. But if you just leave it alone, and you're going to get the eighth wonder of the world. That is compound interest. So I've got an estimation table there. Talked about the treasury bonds here, how they work. Okay, I'm going to have lessons and classes on that. Talk about the liquidity bonds. That's that. Talk about the bond burning. That's that. And then this is some back office things for you network marketers, how much you could be able to earn on your team. And I want to be able to talk about that later too, because I want to break this up. Don't want to overwhelm you. I wanted to give you the big picture of how money works. I want to give you the big picture of what is DeFi and what are the deficiencies in it and why we are better in AKAS, because we've countered all of those deficiencies. We're going to talk a lot about the resonance rewards. When you see resonance, that is like, people you bring on board. That's what it means. People you bring on board. They like big words. The resonance. Because when people come in, it's resonating all over the world. That's your team. So you're going to be able to earn 10 levels up and 10 levels down. That is exciting. I'm going to do a separate video on the affiliate marketing part of AKAS. We talk about rank awards. They call them title rewards. We're going to talk about leadership rewards. That's more money, more money, more money. We're going to talk about income tax. When you see that, that is withdrawal fees. Okay. They have these withdrawal fees. I'm going to talk a little bit about that on my next video. We got the service award, pay every 15 days. It was delicious. What was it? The 9th of the month, I believe, was when the 9th of July, they paid my service award. I didn't know what the heck it was. Then when I got it, I was running around my house. Woo! Almost jumped off my terrace, man, into the Mediterranean Sea, over by the mountains. I was happy. But yes, that's wonderful. There's so many different ways you can make money. You could be passive, or you can talk to people and introduce them to AKAS, and you will make a lot of money with that extra effort. It's all up to you, but at least get in passively, start earning, start learning, start asking questions. And I'm accessible to everyone. And the person who brought you on board, they're accessible. They don't know everything. They know how to find the person that brought them on board, and we'll get those answers. We'll start getting those. So I have a lot of videos I'm putting in our Telegram group. I have them in YouTube as well. So this is going to be really, really, really exciting. So again, this is a lot, all these different ways to earn money. So again, joint participation. That's us. We're going to all do this together, guys. We're going to do this together. Joint market making, that's that liquidity, that's that burning, that's those bonds, shared value growth. We're all going to be able to share in the value, because remember, the daily percentage that you're going to get in your rebate rewards are based upon the value that we as the DAO create in our community, in our ecosystem, right? And this great ecology. So through the Genesis mechanism, everybody's going to be able to participate in market making. And that's the Genesis mechanism is for those early birds like myself and others who got in and they purchased a node, which is no longer for sale. So there you are. So I tell you guys, this thing, when I looked at the mathematics, when I looked at the technology behind it, when I looked at the security of the code, when I looked at the liquidity pool, when I looked at the excitement around the world, particularly in the non-English speaking countries, I said, you know what? We got to bring this to the English speaking people, man. We got to bring this. We got to bring the noise. We got to bring the noise. See, because AKAS iterates and it upgrades the Olympus DAO that I started this presentation with on a full blockchain basis. They integrate these wonderful mechanisms to fix, if you will, the deficiencies in the old Olympus DAO model, such as a fair launch, permanent liquidity locking, done. Bond burning, a community-driven reward system for when you share this with other people when you're on a cruise. It's committed to building a new generation of iconic, fully decentralized DeFi protocols, reshaping trust, which is critical in DeFi, and order. Tell you, reshaping trust in order. Don't trust, verify. And when you verify, that's where you get your trust from, in the technology, okay? So when the era calls for a new order, and this is so fitting with what's going on around the world today, we're talking about a new order. Things are changing crazy in terms of the global economy and the positioning of the pawns on the chessboard, right? You want to be here too. You want to be that pawn on the chessboard, and you want to further eventually become that what? Queen, who's all powerful on that chessboard. So the era calls for a new order. We no longer just wait, sit by, see what's going to happen with the world, just passively. Be active, because the active people, those who do will win. Those who are waiting for things to happen from your governments all over the world, you sit there and wait, you're at their beck and call. With AKAS, make it happen. Choose to forge it with your own hands. That is AKAS DAO, ladies and gentlemen. With that said, I am going to stop this share. Okay. Stop the share, baby. Stop the share. I'm excited about this. Look at my hat. Got my hat on, yo. You see that? If you understood residual income, you will walk through a brick wall, right, to get it. You will walk through a brick wall to get it. And that's what we're doing here. I'm very excited about this. I had retired for a bit. I'm back. I'm back in full force. I'm back. This is the real deal, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to cut this, get back with the person who invited you to this webinar to hear this fascinating, potentially lucrative project, this deal. And we're going to have some scheduled webinars, not right now, but I'm doing them ad hoc right now. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.